Welcome back to Speed 3 Performance. Today we're going to be going over how to tint your headlights on your E46. So, as you can tell, my headlights are pretty rough right now. So, first things first is you got to restore them. I'm not going to be going into depth of how to do that right now because we have a separate video coming out that's going to go step by step how to do that, and you're going to get great results. So, I'm going to skip through that. We're going to go specifically to how to tint your headlights. Overall, it's a really simple process. Once they're restored, I'm going to start going in way more detail on how to actually tint them properly. The items required to tint your headlights is one, obviously your tints, a spray bottle that can mist water very finely, a squeegee, a razor blade for trimming, and then a heat gun, which might or may not be necessary. So although I'm not going in depth on how to actually restore your headlights right now, I'm just giving you an overview of what you're going to need. Is obviously sandpaper, microfibers, a drill, a cutting compound, a polishing compound, the attachments for your drill, a UV coat of some sort or spray paint that has a UV coating in it that will protect them from fading once again, and then tape to protect the surrounding area. Here's a close-up of prior to restoring them, and you can really see how bad they are. So the restoration portion's done. We're going to go on to tinting. I'm doing yellow. So the first thing you're going to want to make sure you do is make sure the surface is clean. After that, you're going to wet it and then apply it, squeegee it, and then trim it. And then I also have a heat gun in case you get any hard areas. You can warm that area up just slightly enough so it becomes more pliable and you can pull out those wrinkles. Step 1, lightly coat the entire surface area with water. Step 2 is going to be peeling off the backing. Go ahead and use the tabs provided on the sides so you don't ruin the backing of the actual tint itself. Now what you're going to want to do is ensure that it's obviously lined up properly, and to do that you can always add a little bit of more water to the backing, and you can readjust it a few times. It's not the end of the world. However, I recommend that you attempt to minimize how many times you reapply it, because every time you take it on and off, you're just increasing the probability of gaining more air bubbles or other impurities in the finished product. Now that that's done, step 3 is going to be to use the squeegee to remove the air bubbles and the moisture from behind the backing. So to do that, you're going to start at the middle and work your way out. Make sure you take your time to do this properly. It's a little bit time consuming, but you're going to want to make sure that you get all the air bubbles out. If you're having trouble with the squeegee, you can also lubricate the surface area with some water. Moving on to step 4, we're going to begin trimming. So for this, I like to use a precision knife or an X-Acto knife. You're going to want to take your time doing this because you can always cut more, but you can't add. Another good tip for this, if you haven't done it before, go ahead and every so often step back and gain a little bit of perspective, and you can see some more angles and you can really tell if you need to trim more or if you don't. This is going to allow you to get that perfect tint. Moving on to doing the blinker, it's going to be the same 4-step process. Now, this being slightly more curved, it's going to take a little bit more time to make sure that you get all the air bubbles out and that there's no wrinkles. However, just like before, take your time and it's going to come out looking amazing. A side note, if you're doing this in a colder temperature, you may need to use a heat gun for this portion. However, I did not need to do it because it was like 90 degrees and it was ridiculously hot. Therefore, it made the material quite pliable. There you have it. It was a pretty easy DIY. The hardest part was the restoration part, just because it took forever. It's really hot outside. I'm extremely dehydrated. But other than that, it came out looking pretty good if I don't say so myself. Go ahead, let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe.